going down. Tired of myself, tired of this town.
Eminent Waste of Time, episode 60. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad.
And it feels like just 10 weeks ago that we did episode 50.
Yeah, it's probably about right.
Oh, it's probably because it was.
How's it feel? Welcome back, sir, to the podcast.
I'm back from my hiatus. That was the first time ever I've missed one.
Yep. We had Steve step in. He pretended to be you, kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
That worked out fine.
He did okay.
He is okay.
When we have no one else and we have reached the bottom of the barrel, then we call Steve.
When there literally is only one man left in the world who can fill the vacancy, we call Steve.
No, thanks, Steve, for stepping in. So.
Actually, yeah, thank you for stepping in, not just the podcast, but yesterday we were out working in the fabled studio. And if you haven't seen that update yet, Steve actually came down. We had some other business to attend to, but he donated some of his time for floor leveling.
Yep. So we got, well, I guess we'll do the studio update kind of first. We might as well. So I think since we really talked about it last, because Steve and I didn't talk about it, we have finished the drywall. We have primed all the walls and the ceiling.
We've gotten the electrical done. There's some trim to do, but we need to finish painting before we can put that up.
Right. And yeah, we're going to paint the walls like a color, which I'm not picking the color.
To be determined.
I'm mostly colorblind. So Doug's picking the color.
Multiple shades of green just to make you mad.
Reds and greens I have real problems with. I know I am wearing a red shirt. The crazy thing is when I look at it here on me, it doesn't look very bright. It's almost maroon. I see it in the camera. It is extremely bright to me.
Okay.
I tried
So
some
it's
of
just like everything's turned down a notch.
It is. That's really what it's like because people ask, like, well, what do you do at a stoplight? I'm not retarded. I mean, green's on the bottom, red's on the top, even if I was completely
I was going to say,
colorblind.
even if you could just see gray,
yeah,
you'd figure that out.
But the best I can equate it to is everything is muted. I tried some of those color correcting glasses. I think it was last Christmas. My sister had a pair that she had. I guess you can like borrow them from local libraries now.
Yeah, because I guess they're fairly expensive.
Yeah,
like you're not just going to go buy them as a novelty.
Yeah, I mean they're reasonably expensive, like $700 or $500 or whatever. I don't know. It's been a while, but anyway, she had a set because my brother-in-law's grandfather is also colorblind in the same basic colors that I am. So they got them for him. They borrowed them from the local library so that he could see it. And she had them there at the my parents' house when we were doing Christmas. And she's like, "Here, do you want to see what these feel like to you?" And you know how you see those videos of people that like break down in tears and cry?
Did you cry?
I did not cry, but I really understand how they could. I absolutely do now because I saw what green actually looked like. I didn't know. I never knew. And I was so amazed. And I was literally asking like my daughter and my sister-in-law and my wife and everybody who was standing there. I'm like, is this really what you guys see? Because I didn't know it was like this. Like grass, yeah, it looks like what I know is green, but it's kind of a dull. It's not bright. I didn't know grass was that bright of green. I just never knew. So, yeah, I really do see why people would break down and cry. People that are more colorblind than myself. Yeah, I can totally see that. So that was a complete tangent and off the... all because we were talking about paint to the studio.
Back to business as usual here at Eminent Performance.
Look at that. I'm sympathizing, empathizing, whatever, with colorblind people.
That's as close to crying as you will ever see Chad right there. Hope you watch that.
I understand why you're an emotional ball of mess. That's as close as I get.
But anyways, back to the studio after Chad's blubbering here. We are looking at doing a move-in date. Today is the 18th. And
November.
Next weekend is basically I was going to say Thanksgiving aftermath, but really it's the Black Friday aftermath.
Yeah.
Anymore. I mean, so that's going to be, I'm going to be up north. We're going to be getting back Sunday evening.
Family stuff for Doug.
We'll still record a podcast on Sunday evening at some point, but we're planning on kind of basically groundbreaking, ribbon cutting, whatever you want to call it, on the studio for the following weekend, which would be, what, the 30th or something like that?
No, it ends up being the 2nd, I think, of December. Is that right?
It is, yeah. Okay, yeah. So next Sunday's the 25th, and then December 2nd is probably going to be the move-in day where we'll record the first episode from the studio.
Yeah. We technically right now we could record from there, but it's just a white box.
Yeah, I want to get it painted first, and I want to get some of the odd and end race memorabilia that's been donated to us, hung. It's not stuff that's going to take a real long time, but I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it in a giant white box.
Yeah. And really, we only have one more episode where you get to see my house. And
we actually have enough room. We can hang the EWAT banner.
Yeah.
The right way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hang it upside down like a flag when you're in distress.
When a country's in distress, that's why the flags are hung upside down, for those of you that don't know.
There you go. Free trivia.
The government has been overthrown, is technically.
Oh, we totally need to hang it upside down.
Yeah.
Done. Decisions have been made.
Yep.
Poor decisions, but decisions nonetheless.
True story.
Well, one of the things we were hoping to bring you today was the IXCR grand finale, the 2-hour UTV race, the thing everybody was looking forward to.
Yep.
Everything. Yes, everything on the planet. All animals and rocks. No, probably just people in this area. However, that did not happen.
No, they ended up canceling. And in my opinion, the worst possible reasons.
They did not have enough people to make the race work. So track sweeps and vendor, all the people that actually make a thing work at a race, they just didn't have enough people. I don't know what position specifically they were lacking, but
track sweeps from what I was
most
told.
of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Which I understand, you can't run a race if you don't have enough people there because it's almost impossible. However, they'd made a big deal about this.
They made special announcement video, and they did a lot of stuff like that to try and hype this one up a little bit more. And it just...
I mean, I get it. It happened, but it just feels really weird to cancel a series because you couldn't get enough people to show to run it.
Yeah, my opinion, you should add your ducks in a little bit more of a row. But
it would seem that way, for sure.
Things happen. I get it. It is what it is. But
so that kind of kicked our show right in the butt. I mean, don't worry, we'll ramble for an hour like we always do.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We got plenty to talk about.
We got plenty of other stuff, but that was kind of the one we were hoping to bring you, the results, especially the 2-hour endurance kind of mini Heartland Challenge side-by-side race.
Right, because several racers we knew were going to hit this. I mean, I don't think Steve and I never really officially revealed it, although if you know enough about us and what goes on with us, you would have guessed who Steve was going to ride with. Devin Smith was going to drive Steve Mueller's buggy in the 2-hour race. I was going to originally, I backed out and said, I need to get media coverage because Doug couldn't make it. And then Devin's like, oh yeah, I'll run it. I think we've tried to get Devin in Steve's buggy like 3 times. They've tried to. Both of them have tried to. And everything just keeps going wrong.
The fates don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
That's all I can figure. Because, like you said, it should have happened multiple times. But there's always next year.
Yep. Devin in a Razor, 2019.
Devin back in a Razor.
Yeah, because Devin had a 4-seater 800.
Yeah. We're going to have to, I think there's a picture posted on we have a kind of a group chat among the local racers and ourselves.
Which is, it's kind of weird. Well, it's not weird to us because we're all friends like we've talked about. But I think to a lot of people, they don't understand that racers are really friends.
Usually,
and yeah, I mean, we have this group message with a majority of the racers that run here in Indiana mostly. And we just all chat back and forth and tease and poke each other. I mean, we probably, I don't know, there's probably 20 or 30 messages posted in there per day.
Try per hour.
Well, sometimes we get a little out of hand.
Oh, yeah, if you average it out, it's probably 30 per day. But there's times where there's days with nothing, and there's other times where I didn't check my phone for a half hour, and there's 90 messages in there.
That has happened. Yeah, but we normally chat back and forth about stuff, and, Steve posts cat pictures, and...
Why does he keep doing... Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Steve... So, let's talk about Steve and the cat pictures and whatnot. So...
But before we get there, the whole point of that little side trip was...
We get off topic a lot.
We were talking about who's had what vehicles and what their original buggy was. And yeah, surprisingly... Well, not surprisingly. I mean, back when Devin got his first ride, it was kind of Polaris or nothing, really.
And the Yamaha Rhinos. That was your only.
But that was about
option.
it. Yeah. I mean, you didn't have all the options you had now, so it's kind of interesting to see that. I think probably a lot of people that are in other buggies now started off in a Razor.
Yeah, most did. So Steve and his cat pictures. Steve came out here, and he was at my house for a little bit this weekend. He talked nonstop to the cats that are running around. My kids' cats.
So are you saying his kind of constant needling you about your cats is really misplaced?
Yes, it's actually him.
Ah.
He doesn't want to admit it.
Isn't that it's the old thing about the character flaw that really annoys you in someone else is because
it's the one that's yours is yours. Yes.
Yeah. It all makes sense now.
I think so, because
we need to design a vinyl wrap for next year's race buggy for him.
Yeah.
I have ideas.
I'm picturing just like a cat sitting in a seat looking like it's driving, but then, only goes up to the doors, and then it's Steve's head. So
I had more like a cat laying down like it was on the hood and its head's towards the front and its paws are like laying over the fenders.
That would be good too. No, Steve's sitting in there. Oh, hi, babies. And he's talking to the cats. Yeah. And he was wanting to pet them. And then he's like, don't bat at me. And they're, because my cats are like me, they're trying to smack everything.
Well, and they're kittens yet too.
Yeah.
So they got all that stupid energy.
So, yeah, that was... we did some stuff there. We won't tell it until we won't tell why Steve was here until we have everything finished and wrapped up with that. So
we're getting really good at dropping this mystery stuff to keep people enticed. I don't know if it's working, but
stuff is coming.
There are things happening somewhere and some stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I got to say, your screen thing always makes me weird out. Your negative screen thing. Oh,
okay. So what he's talking about on my laptop here, I have an aversion to staring at bright white screens for long periods of time, which most web pages have a white background. So this inverts everything, and usually that just means a black background with white text. But occasionally it inverts videos and pictures, and so it's really funny when you see somebody with dark hair and a light complexion
and white teeth.
Their teeth are black and their face is grayish and their hair is like bright white. And
makes everything look like zombie post-apocalypse, everything's been nuked.
What's funny is I completely forget that I have this on there, and other people walk by my computer and they're, hey, check this out. I want to show you something on this website. I bring it up and they're like completely lost. They have no idea what's going on. But when you stare at a screen for 8 hours a day, it basically takes it from 85% of a page on average is just white.
Yeah.
So you're staring at a light bulb with some black squiggly lines on it. Yeah. And now you've inverted that where your eyeballs don't hate you.
I go the other way. I wear those yellow tinted glasses that filter out blue light.
Your rose tinted glasses?
No, they're yellow.
Oh, okay.
And I seem to like those because I too stare at a screen all day. So
I haven't tried those yet. I mean, a coworker had a pair, and I wore them for a few minutes, and I definitely see how they help, but I've never like gone through a day.
I'll bring you mine. You can borrow them for the week or something.
Ooh. So I'm sorry, I'm just noodling around looking at other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing a podcast, aren't we?
Yes, we're supposed to be.
Okay.
So we talked about our little chat with the other racers, and are
we getting to where stuff got real?
Let's get to it. You want to introduce it?
Okay, so Ironman, the last GNCC side-by-side race possibly ever. I mean, well,
in the foreseeable future.
In the foreseeable future. I'm not discounting that in the future they could change their mind again, but for right now, this looks like it was the last one ever.
Right.
Kyle Chaney won.
Yes, he did.
And during the first lap, was it the first lap or was it the
second lap?
Second lap, that's right, because it was about 17 minutes into the race.
Yep.
He made what we'll call a controversial pass on first place to get around Miller. And it really kind of evenly divided our group, and honestly, not just our group. I've kind of done some other feeling around and reading and other side-by-side channels and that kind of stuff, and it seemed to be a fairly even split whether people thought the pass was just a good heads-up, I saw an opportunity pass, or whether he was cutting the track. So,
yes.
To lay the background for this, the GNCC rules specifically state that the driver must remain on the marked course, and that the marked course is within 25 feet of the race arrows.
And that's the arrows, not the track that's running along the 2-track.
So if the track is to the left of a tree and there's an arrow on that tree, so if you're driving on the track and there's an arrow on your right, you're not on the center of the track driving on the track. You're to the left of that arrow already.
By, we'll say, 6 feet, because that's about the width of a buggy.
So if you are figuring that you've got 25 feet from the track to make a pass, you've already eaten up, say, between 6 and 8 feet just driving where you are.
Yeah.
So you don't have that wide swing that maybe you thought you did. And honestly, it's really easy to be 25 feet off. I mean, if you're just walking, that's a fair amount of distance. When you're in a buggy that's 6 foot wide at race speeds.
And most of these arrows are on a tree, which is already 1.5 feet from, the base, and you're not driving up on the tree. You're already 2 or 3 feet from the center line.
Exactly. So it is fairly tight. It's actually tighter than most people would probably think. The exception to this rule is that doesn't apply from arrows kind of pointed inwards. And what I mean is, let's say you're out in a field and the track is 70 feet wide in a section and there's arrows on both sides. You can go down the middle of it even though you're more than 25 feet from the arrows. That's okay. It's really from the arrows to the outside of the track, like you're pushing away from the defined track.
Right. So... And also, I will add, the rules also state and say that it's not like, oh, I have one tire within the bounds of the 25 feet on each side of the arrow.
No.
Your entire machine needs to be inside of the bounds.
Right. So, that 25 feet doesn't, like you said, you can't be, okay, if I'm moving off to the left, my passenger side tire is inside of 25 feet, so therefore I'm okay. No, that means 90% of your vehicle is off of the track.
Right.
And the only exception to that rule is if there's a bottleneck, which is defined as an impassable track.
Due to machine or track conditions.
And that does not mean that there's somebody in front of you going slower than you would like. It means the track has come to a complete stop. It is impassable and you need to find another way around. You do get more than 25 feet to make that pass, but you have to return to the marked course as soon as you possibly can, and you can't use the line you took around on the next lap. So if the track has cleared in that the time it takes you to get around again, you don't get to take your bypass route you made yourself. You have to stay on the track.
Right. So, and this is not pointed at Kyle Chaney specifically. This is more of a broad thing, but because it just got brought up.
We've had these discussions multiple times throughout the year in multiple different races. So yeah, this is not a Kyle Chaney thing. This is just an example of the discussions that get brought up when people from different kind of schools of thought look at it.
So one side of the school of thought says, so Chaney was following Miller, and they came up on, I believe, 2 slower buggies in front of them in lower tier classes. I'm wanting to say they were 800s, but they may have been not 800s. Regardless, they were definitely slower than Miller and Chaney were. No question there. So Chaney, I'm going to say cut, but I'm not saying cut in the sense of cut the track yet. I'm saying he cut to the inside and found a way around. Now, if he was within 25 feet from that arrow that was right there, he was perfectly fine to do so. It did not look that way in the video at all, but
I think with the way the track's laid out, and you'll see it because I will have already posted that in probably multiple times here in slow motion, just so you can see for yourself, there is a clearly visible area or arrow on the right side of the track. There are no arrows on the left side of the track, and the route he made for himself was to the left of the track. So he was already, as we said, probably between 6 and 8 feet, maybe as much as 10 off of the arrow, and then he took a turn to the left to make a path around to make a pass and then pulled back onto the track. Now, if there was an arrow on the left side of the track, he probably would have been really close. He swung out pretty wide, but it would have been at least like, okay, I'll give that to you in the heat of a race. You don't have a tape measure.
Right.
But the fact that the arrow's on the right side of the track is kind of where the discussion started. Several people said, I don't know, it looks clean to me. It's within 25 feet, but it's not. It's not even really within 25 feet of the 2 track. It's
like 50 feet off.
He's a ways off the course at that point.
It was a poor estimation of distance. We'll give it that wording. How's that sound?
Yeah, and it also, I think the other point it brought up was he went through some about 6-foot tall reeds.
Yeah, they were all dead. I mean, he was just mowing them over. But
he lost complete visibility while he was pushing through them, and then when he came out the other side, they stuck up against the intrusion bar at the front of his cage, and he lost visibility while he and his co-driver were slapping at them, trying to get them out of the way so they could see.
Right.
And so that was the other kind of point of controversy is he could have hit... There could have been a race spectator because that position would have been off of the track.
Right.
In theory, they should have been safe there.
Right.
Or there could have been a broken down rig that had pulled over. There could have been any number of obstacles there that he would not have been able to see at all.
And he charged blindly through these reeds and came out on the track in the open field section.
Yeah, I mean, everything turned out fine.
Yep.
Pass completed, but it sparked some rather lively debate about whether that was a legal pass or not. And honestly, we're not going to pass judgment. There's only a 30-minute window at the end of the race to file a complaint about the way something happened. And you have to have video evidence and yada, yada, yada. None of that happened. Miller had already sewn up the points championship at that point, so
Yeah,
probably
didn't
didn't particularly care. But the reason we bring this up is twofold. There's a lot of new racers that we've run across recently. In fact, as of episode 58, where we talked about how to get sponsorships,
we've had several contact us to say, okay, what do we need to do?
Yeah.
What's best practice?
New to the sport.
Yeah.
So we're bringing this up for new racers so that they're aware of basically what the rules are and what can happen out there on the track.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it. And the other part of it is if people are really upset by this, maybe we need to be better at policing our own sport. So kind of the concept of nobody wants to be that guy that complains he lost because some guy cut around the track or, thinks they cut around the track. But
allegedly cut the track.
if there are blatant abuses of this and we're not doing anything about it, if at the end of the race we're just complaining to the driver, but we're not going up and actually reporting and saying, look, this was a blatant cut of the track, something needs to be done, then it's not going to get any better either. There's only so much rules enforcement that can be done by a race series on a 6-mile long track that goes through the woods, goes here, there, and everywhere. You can't catch everything.
And basically for side-by-sides, most track sweeps, 99% of them are on a quad, and, well, I'll say 75% of them are on a quad, 24% are on a dirt bike, and maybe you might have one on a side-by-side or something in some series. Those machines, the track sweep machines, normally are not fast enough for them to move along the track during a race. They just can't. So they just kind of post up in a spot and...
And would you want to be a track sweep on a dirt bike trying to keep out of the way of a speeding side-by-side?
No, they will run you over. So I get that they can't police the whole thing. I completely understand that. And that's where Doug's talking about if we want the sport to be better as an overall and be, I don't want to say more professional, but a cleaner run where it's on the up and up all the time and there's no one questioning, was that cheating, was that cutting, was that this, was that that. We need to make sure we don't do it ourselves.
Yes.
If at all possible. I understand mistakes will be made. I accidentally turned the wheel in too quick. I thought I was, 20 or 50 feet down the trail further than I was, and I could make it, but I turned early and so whatever. But A, don't do it ourselves, and B, I'm not saying be narcs, but report it. If there's a problem... If you don't report it and someone gets away with it, they're going to keep doing it and getting away with it if they did it on purpose.
And that's where the judgment comes in. If you're dealing with a racer who habitually is cutting the track in very egregious, obvious fashions, you need to step up and do something about it because that situation's not going to get better.
Yeah.
There was going to be a point at every race at some point in the season where at least one driver is going to make a possibly questionable maneuver. But if it's not something that's normally in their habit and they were just trying to get around something, you use your best judgment. But it's kind of like the old school definition of pornography. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with track cutting. You know it when you see it. And that's why I say this one, we're not here to pass judgment, but it did spark a very interesting discussion about was that a legal pass or was it just a really smart heads-up maneuver? from what I had seen of the race at that point, a couple things that you have noticed in some of Cheney's race videos that I also picked up on is he hates being roosted.
And he was getting roosted.
And I've seen other races where you can tell by his driving, it has visibly gotten under his skin.
Yeah.
And he starts taking more and more aggressive routes to avoid it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it looked like at this point, is he had had enough.
He had done a lap and a half behind Miller, and when Cheney gets roosted, and he will hold a hand up to block it and still drive with the other hand. Normally he holds his left hand up and drives with his right still.
So Miller has a fast car. He was having a good day, and Cheney could not get around him in the open fields. And like I said, a lot of people will look at that and say that was just a smart heads-up pass, and he got what he needed to get out of it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting discussion. It's one that's worth having with the other racers in your group, in your area. Basically, so you kind of come to a consensus about what you're willing to tolerate, as a group of racers, and what you are not. I think those discussions are healthy and good to have.
Right.
Because, again, typically a group of close-knit racers like we have around here are going to follow the rules, and they're not going to, deliberately try and burn other people by cheating.
Right.
But what happens when you get somebody newer to the area and they start doing stuff like that? I mean, you have to kind of, as a group, decide that, you know what, if this keeps happening, we're going to report this person. We're going to complain at the end of the races. We're going to have GoPro footage, and we're going to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
It's the only way to keep this sport where people are going to be interested in racing in it, because I know some racers I've talked to that are very, very conscientious about it.
Yeah.
And I've seen their frustration where they're saying, I don't really want to be that guy and, just be perceived as a whiner because I'm reporting them. But I followed the track.
Yeah, I followed the rules that were laid out before me.
And it cost me.
Yeah.
And frustrated to the point of, I don't know if I want to keep doing this.
Right.
If this is how it's going to be.
And I understand that. I understand that frustration of, I followed the rules, they didn't, they got away with it. And we're not directing this at Cheney or anything else. Once again, I just want to make this very clear. We're just talking about someone who habitually cuts a track. There are other people who race in this local region area that they are very well known for cutting the track.
Yes.
There are other racers who...
Exploring new territories, I believe is the term they like.
Alternative lines. There's other racers who are from this area who race in regional series around here. People know that they are just flat, dirty racers. They will try and wreck your machine just to put you out so that they don't have to pass you again. And it's just not...
If you can't win a race, except for resorting to physically damaging somebody else's machine...
Or cheating.
This is not the sport for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably no sport is for you, because you're going to carry that mentality to whatever sport you choose.
Yeah.
We're here to race. We're here to have fun. And most of the people we know, when we say they're sponsored, it's discounts on parts.
Yeah.
These
guys aren't making a fortune.
No, they're losing a fortune. And these are just blue collar guys like everybody else. I don't know anybody out there on the track that's just rolling in millions.
Yeah.
So we're out there to have fun. We're out there to be competitive. Basically, we have to be willing to stand up against cheating and poor sportsmanship. We have to. We have to police this sport, or we are not going to get new people who are legitimately interested and going to stay with it.
Right. Because, well, we've seen it, and you guys maybe have seen it if you've been around the racing. And the racing, I'm not going to say the whole racing community, but side-by-side racers especially, kind of get the stigma of being hooligans. I mean...
The rage in the cage?
Oh, yeah.
And as the machines have gotten bigger and faster, it's only gotten worse. I think track cutting was not as big a deal back when everybody was rolling in Rhinos and Razor 800s.
Well, they could barely push a tree over. I mean, they weren't that fast. They weren't that strong. They just were. They were there, whatever. Now, you're talking a 250 horsepower machine that's as wide as a normal, car on the road car, and you're armored up. I mean, top, sides, front and rear. And if that tree's in your way, move it, tree. I'm coming. I mean, we've said it before. Side-by-side racers are the worst racers ever. If I see if not me, but I mean, as a side-by-side racer, if they see a line, they'll just make a new track there.
I don't think we posted in a podcast that I posted a chunk of the video on one of our group discussions of Barry Miller, just using his side by side like a bulldozer. Now, that was during the windy race when trees were falling. The track was legitimately impassable.
Yes.
And he was making a route around it. So
he was still within the 25 feet, I believe.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with what he did, but I mean, he's just literally backing up and then slamming and just
ramming the same tree
stuff over.
He called it the Barry Miller bulldozer. I mean, he was just ramming stuff.
It was great.
It was. And we'll see if we can find that footage. I don't know if it's floating
I know where it is. I'll throw it in here.
So it's got its good points and its bad points. It's just, it gets to be really bad points when people are using those front bumpers and all that armor on them to just, I'm making a new path and I'm going around you all because I can't make the pass, or I don't feel like waiting for the section to make the pass, or whatever it is. Yeah,
and some of that is, you've got wide open field sections, but you're going to get roosted if you get close. Are you willing to get roosted? I mean, flat out pelted to stay close enough to make a pass when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah. And
it changes the way you race when you think about these are the sections I have to make a move in versus I'm just going to do whatever I can do and make my own path to get around.
And for the guys that haven't raced and are just listening, and maybe trail rider guys, when you get roosted in a lot of these sections, it hurts. I mean, it legitimately hurts.
Cheney posted a picture of a sizable rock got thrown at him and split his goggles.
Yeah.
If he was not wearing goggles, he'd probably be missing an eye right now.
Yeah. So it's not, when I say Cheney doesn't like to be roosted, I understand why Cheney doesn't like to be roosted.
Nobody enjoys it.
No. But he makes active movements to stop it. Most of the racers I know just sit there and take it because it's going to happen. But he does not like it. Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's an
interesting discussion.
And we'd be interested to hear your take on it as well. So when you hear this podcast or see it on YouTube, feel free to drop a comment and just let us know your thoughts about it in long form. I mean, type out a couple paragraphs if you want. We're not afraid of anybody's opinion on it. And like I said, we're not assigning blame in this particular instance we've been talking about. But I think these are discussions that the UTV community as a whole needs to have to be on the same page.
And I'll clarify, we're not really looking, we'll take your comments on the video of what we saw Kyle Cheney doing. But but we're not talking about that. We're talking in general, how does your group interpret the race rules, because they're all pretty universal, that you have 25 feet from the marked track arrows. Is that kind of how you view it? Do you view it, well, I have 25 feet from the ruts that have been dug from there, or, I have 25-ish feet, which may be 50-ish feet, What do you call okay? We're wanting more of a generalization and what you guys think of it, So
that, I don't want to say it got heated with us. It was a really, really good discussion. It was one of those times I came back to my phone with
90 messages
laying around.
And some of them were long. I don't think anybody's mad at each other. I know
nobody actually. In fact, what I took away from all that, what I got out of it was everybody kind of had a new respect for the other person out of it.
Yeah.
Which is how a civil discussion should end up. And believe it or not, in 2018 in the United States, that actually is still possible to disagree, but not hate the other person.
I don't think anybody even changed their mind on how they viewed it, but everyone understood the other person's thoughts on it better.
Yes, I understand why you're an idiot.
Everyone has a right to their opinion. They can all be wrong if they want.
So, I'm going to eat a little bit of crow on this.
Okay.
The Honda Talon is a real thing.
So Steve and I talked about this last week.
Now, I never said 100%. I said I am 90 or 95% sure this is vaporware that will never materialize. I was wrong. It is coming out on November 27th.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. We don't even know if we'll call it the quote-unquote leaked photos. We don't even know if those are pictures of that machine are even what the Honda is going to be. There is zero proof of that. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying everyone assumes that's what it is.
It would not be out of character for Honda to just kind of let people keep looking at these online photos and thinking,
They found it.
They found it. This is it. And then totally blowing them away with something completely different. What I do expect out of this machine is it's 1,000 cc. From Honda, I'm guessing that means, I'm going to say 95 horse.
I would
what I'm
suspect
gonna
you're right.
peg it at. A lot of people are going to poo-poo that, but every time Honda releases a machine, they derate the motor and they make it last forever.
Yep. Which has its very good points. I'm not...
Yeah.
It's just their mindset.
Their brand is built on reliability. This thing will run forever if you buy it.
Yeah.
You can't just basically decide to scrap that whole mentality and make one machine that is just flat out performance, but it may destroy itself. They'll never do that. Now, it's going to be stout. You know the internals of the motor are going to be good. You know somebody's going to up the compression, or they're going to do an ECU tune, or they're going to put a turbo on it, and they're going to be getting some monster numbers. But Honda's not going to do that from the factory.
No, that's not going to be a warranty-backed thing.
No, and even if they do release a turbo version, I would bet you the turbo version's like $120.
Yeah. It'll be under what basically even other naturally aspirated things will be.
Yeah.
I don't know. The turbo one might be 130 or 140, maybe.
Ooh, I'd probably wet myself if Honda made something with 140 horsepower. Besides the Civic.
Yeah. But you got to think about it. I mean, like the Razor's 168 and the X3's 172, and guys are pretty easily and regularly. I love that picture. It's just like stick figure drawing of what they think the Honda might be. It's stupid.
It's a UTV coming over a dune, and they just
It couldn't be any more crappily done.
That's why I like it so much.
But I don't even know where I was. Oh, the X3's 172 and the Razor's 168 horsepower. And people are very commonly getting 200 to 220 horse out of them and not really having any problems. I don't see it being, a stretch for a turbo machine to be 130 or 140 horse.
No, probably not. But again, just predictions based on what we've seen so far. They're playing this one very, very close to the vest, and this has been coming for years now.
Yep.
So we'll see on the 27th what they give us. I'm not going to do any wild speculation other than just based on what I know of Honda. Those are kind of the numbers I would think you would get.
Yeah, I would suspect. I think the suspension will be pretty good. Nothing, well, I stated this in the last one. I was kind of wanting more of your opinion. But I don't think it's going to be anything earth-shattering. They'll probably work with someone like Fox or Walker Evan, Elka, King. I mean, take your pick. We'll get to the King thing here in a minute. I'm still disappointed that the Double X ditched King for...
I know you're upset about that because it would have been better.
Not that the Double X is bad, but man, King just makes some amazing shocks.
They just don't have that name recognition unless you're running in like the Baja 1000 circuit or, people who know.
Yeah. King just makes good stuff.
But everybody knows Fox.
I think we talked about this, but it's been, nearly a year ago probably, the Textron Double X went with Fox shocks because their focus group that they had look at the prototypes of the Double X didn't recognize the name of King Shocks, but they did recognize Fox, so they went with that thinking it would help. And maybe it did. I'm not saying it didn't, but the guys who are in the know, every one of us that I've ever talked to who knows anything about shocks have all said the same thing. I wish they had gone with the Kings. It just would have been that much nicer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But is what it is, and we'll see what it is here shortly. I mean, from the pictures I've seen that look plausible, it kind of looks like I thought it would look. I mean, a fairly conservative Honda design, but we'll see if that actually is what it is or not. I mean, Honda every once in a while pulls something out of the box. It's like, oh, well, good for you.
Yep, but you did something good. I mean, not that the other stuff's bad. It's just, I guess everything that of Honda's is just kind of underwhelming.
It's conservative.
Unexciting. Yeah.
I mean, I think the only real exception to that I can think of was when they released the TRX 450, because that's still basically king of the hill in quad racing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great machines and they're fast, but that's really one of the times where they just said, you know what, forget it. We're going to make a liquid-cooled beast, and it's going to have a bunch of power right out of the box.
Yeah.
I mean, it still didn't have as much as the other 450s, though. I mean, a box stock Yamaha made more power, but they don't hold together as well.
Yep.
So there's always that.
That is true.
PRI is going to be here in a couple.
Yep, basically
We got a crew going this year.
Oh, man, there's a bunch of us.
Like last year, it was just you and me.
Yeah, I bet
there's
going to be 15.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know. It depends.
We're just running in a little bit different circle than we were last year, and a bunch of people who, have ties and can get passes to PRI, which admittedly it's not that hard. You just have to prove a loose connection to the racing or automotive industry.
Yeah.
Effectively, if you have a website, you probably are in.
Yeah.
And you do, all about cats.
I have 2 websites then. It's not my website. Someone put it up. Someone is using my image without my proper consent.
Ooh, I smell lawsuits.
Lawsuits.
But anyways, we've got
It's not happening.
A pretty good contingent of people going. So it actually should be a lot of fun. And we may try and do... PRI is busy, so I really don't want to say we're going to do any recording there, but I'm going to take my good camera, and we might, if we find a quiet corner, or we might just do some little snippet things, or we might do some Facebook Live, but we'll definitely do something from there.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do Facebook Live from there.
Well, I'm sure we'll be doing massive sticker grabs, because that's why you go to PRIs.
Stickers.
We
pounds
do.
and pounds of stickers.
Because we now have a studio that is by and large done, and we have a beer fridge.
Yeah.
And we need to adorn it.
With lots of stickers.
It's just boring Whirlpool white right now.
Well, that refrigerator has been through 3 different houses with me, and it still works. And my wife was over the white fridge that had moved 3 times and been scuffed and scratched, and the enamel wore off of it, and she wanted the stainless steel monster that's back over there.
You know what? When it's underneath a bunch of race stickers,
who cares?
Who cares? Of course, we're going to sticker this thing up, plug it in, and it's just going to go. That'll be it.
Oh, the stickers were too much.
We'll be buying guts for it because we can't, sacrifice the shell.
Yeah, this got to have the stickers. So, no, PRI will be good. That's always a good time. It'll be good to meet up with a bunch of the racers and kind of go through it with them. I wish it was more focused in the off-road world. There's a lot of dirt car stuff around there.
Every year they gain a little bit, but it's not a off-road show. It is primarily a race and street show.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of custom rods there. You see some F1 cars, Indy cars. I mean, you see hardcore race machines. But every year there's a few side-by-sides and some off-road stuff happening. And we posted some pictures last year, and this year we'll do even better.
Yep. So it'll be neat to go see it.
It'd be good to just hang out with everybody. I mean, the off-season now, I haven't seen a lot of these guys in weeks.
Yeah.
Which for me is odd considering, the summer we basically lived with them.
Yeah. Well, some of them we did stay in their campers and stuff over the race weekends. And
it seems weird that it's over. I mean, Mother Nature is definitely telling us it's over. But
well, I think the thing is, the reason it seems weird that it's over is because there have been several scheduled races that just dematerialized and went up into vapor.
It's been a pretty anticlimactic end.
Yeah. There's some good racing in the last races that we actually had, but everyone was kind of expecting another race or two, and they've all just gone away because the weather just went away.
Just like Florida election ballots.
Yeah, just gone. Don't know where they went. Can't count them.
Well, before we get to the last segment of the show here, we're going to talk about something that Chad has no experience with.
Yeah, it's not. There's lots of things on that list.
This one specifically is restraint.
Yeah, I don't have much of that at all.
Specifically, though, we're going to talk about factory belts, harnesses, and
okay.
whatnot.
I have experience in that.
Okay.
Other kinds of restraint, not so good at.
So the tip of the week, driver/passenger restraint.
Yep.
Again, belts, not doing stupid stuff.
Not like making good choices in life.
No.
Otherwise, Doug's talking about that all by himself.
We will not be talking about that.
So every machine, we all have bought new ones. They come with the factory belts.
Yes, they do.
The factory belts are, people call them car style, 3-point retractable belts. They are not sufficient in my mind.
No.
They are. I really don't know how the factories get by calling them even sufficient to sell them in a machine. If it was an 800, okay, you can get by.
Probably because the factory literature is riddled with terms like use appropriate judgment, approach corners slowly.
Yeah.
The way, if you drive like they tell you to in the manual, the way they want you to drive.
Who does that?
It's like driving Miss Daisy. You know, you moderate throttle in an open field, and then you slow way down, and you go around the corner nicely, and you basically use it like a billy goat. It's slow, but it can get over any kind of terrain.
I have 200 horsepower. I need to use all of them now.
But here's your seatbelt. Yeah. The way they build the machines and the way they tell you to use them they're not good bedfellows.
Vastly different things.
They're not good bedfellows at all.
I'm the kind I want to see if I can go around that 90-degree corner without letting off the throttle.
2 wheels, maybe 1 wheel.
Still touching the ground. Good enough.
I'm picturing you like pirouetting on just the passenger side front tire going around the corner.
I made it.
So I actually agree with Chad, even for a trail ride, because a lot of trail rides get pretty aggressive, not like banging into other vehicles and that kind of stuff. But I mean, they have spots where
you can turn over.
Turn over. I would not really want to be in a buggy with a factory cage and factory belts for any kind of length of time. And honestly, it's just not comfortable because you're sliding. So you're getting thrown left and right.
Yeah.
And it's not... The 5-point harnesses, we both are fans of the 5-point with the submarine strap. So the 4-point, the ones that come across your shoulder and then they come across both hips, and that's it. Those are definitely better than the factory 3-points.
Yep.
We are both big fans of the 5-point harness where you have the submarine strap that's bolted below you underneath the seat and then comes up basically through your crotch and hooks in. And what that does for you is it keeps the harness pulled down where it doesn't slide up your, try and ride up your ribs and into your armpits.
Yeah. So, and it does one other thing. It holds it down because I have been choked by the 4 points where I like, they're called H-style harnesses where it has the chest, the sternum buckle also.
Yeah.
Because it keeps them from wanting to roll off your shoulders. So I like that, but I've had that in a 4-point where that has choked me.
Yeah, where you've slid and yeah.
So the other thing that the submarine strap, the center strap, the 5th point does, like Doug said, it holds it down, but also should something happen where you have it a little too loose, it's gonna hurt, but it stops you from balling yourself up in the floorboards.
Yes.
I mean, it holds you in the seat, and we're talking about if all things go really bad.
And so it sounds like it would be uncomfortable. Oh, I don't like being confined. I really wouldn't want to be in a 4 or 5-point harness for just trail riding. I find it way more comfortable. You get them adjusted where you want them, where it's comfortable, and that's different. Some people like them looser, some people like them tighter, but you find that magic spot where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can almost guarantee you at the end of a long day of riding, you'll feel better.
Yeah, you will. Especially if you get, I prefer the 3-inch wide ones. Sometimes 2-inch are only available. I personally like the Pro Armor. There are others that,
and the new ones are a lot nicer than the ones they sold even a year or two ago.
Yeah, they have upgraded, but they have nice thick padding. It's a 3-inch wide pad, even on the 2-inch wide belt, and it's good and thick, so you're not getting it just drive like the strap webbing driving into your collarbone and your neck. I tend to adjust mine to where the pad actually runs up over my shoulder, so that the pad also cushions from my neck, from the belt cutting into my neck. Last thing I want to do is cut my artery and bleed out because my seatbelt killed me.
I want a set of pedals on my side of the UTV just in case that happens.
Just grab the wheel, drive it, and coast
Jesus,
it.
take the wheel.
No, we are both big fans of just put proper belts in it. I know that Polaris, and I believe Can-Am has them too, have the H-style harnesses that are retractable. In the Polaris, they're called the Click 6. I bought a set of those. They cost a fortune, and absolutely hated them. Just couldn't stand them.
Now, that's going to be up to opinion because some people absolutely love them. It might be worth basically seeking out a dealership that has some installed in some buggies, or again, just go find a local race or a ride with a bunch of people, because you're going to see a variety of them.
Have them.
That's going to give you a chance to check out, what they're all about and see which style you like. Because I can almost guarantee you somebody's going to have a standard 4-point, 5-point, somebody's going to have a Click 6.
Yeah.
And you'll get a feel for what you're looking at without spending a bunch of money up front. Because even the Silent Armor ones aren't super expensive, but they're not what I would call just a throwaway purchase.
No, they're... Well, if you buy the 5 points, they're a little more because you have to pay for that extra one. They're $120 each. So
not terrible, but
yeah.
it's money, you probably want to know before what you're getting into.
True.
I can almost universally say that people are going to find those comfortable.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that one oddball person that hates them, but I think almost anybody that's ever been in them has said, man, these are pretty nice. The Click 6 are definitely love it or hate it, so before you spend a bunch of money, I would go find somebody with them and just see.
Yep.
And if you are actually racing, these are not optional. You have to have them. It's not just you don't want to die. It's in the rules. You cannot race with a factory 3-point harness, so you need to upgrade.
I don't even think you can race with the Click 6 style because they're retractable. I believe that rules them out in most race series.
It does. And if you... and you may say, well, I know this guy over here is doing it. Every race series enforces rules differently. But if you want to be prepared for... Well, I'd say GNCC, except they're not doing anymore. But like this IXCC that's coming up, they're going to be a national level type of race. They're going to enforce that, and they do tech. So if they say no Click 6, you're going to be disappointed if you show up with them. So do keep that in mind.
Yeah, true story. So
there's our thoughts. It's just a huge upgrade, though. I really can't say enough that
should be one of the first things you do, in my
worth
opinion.
looking up to. And honestly, if you're already going to spend the money on a nice set of seats, it's not that bad to spend an extra couple $100 on a good set of harnesses and just do it all in one shot.
Yep.
You'll be glad you did.
Yep, I agree. So
you have your phone out.
You know what that means?
It's time for trivial things.
No, not trivial. Trivia.
I'll stick with my assessment.
Nope, it's trivia. So Steve did pretty good last week.
Yeah, you softballed them.
No, those were actually your questions.
Sure they were.
I did not modify them at all.
No, because I didn't give you a whole lot of heads up. But
so, are you ready for your trivia? I've had several people tell me that they love the trivia.
I'm ready to fail my trivia, yes.
Okay. Question number 1 from Fuzzy.
Yay.
On which arm does Jabba the Hutt have a tattoo? He would know this too.
He totally would
right
know
off
this.
the top of his head.
I think it's his left arm.
You are incorrect.
It's his right?
It is his right arm.
Crap.
You had a 50-50 chance.
I did. I was thinking left for some reason, but
okay.
I honestly didn't know. It was just, you go with your gut.
Yeah.
I went with my gut.
And it was wrong.
Gut was wrong. It's all that pizza I had for lunch.
Yep, that'll do it. Question number 2. In what detention block was Princess Leia held captive on Vader's ship?
I gotta play the movie through in my head now.
Yeah, it's early in the movie, so we'll wait.
I don't remember, and I'm not going to delay the show. So, D.
AA23.
Okay, that one.
Okay.
I love the movies, but I don't delight in minutia about them. Like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, Fuzzy does, so that's fine. Question number 3. What did the Nazis introduce into Italy as revenge in World War II?
All the Italians they had over in Germany.
No.
Okay. I don't know. I've never heard that they did something like that.
They introduced malaria-carrying mosquitoes because Italy changed sides.
Did they?
They did.
Wow.
It caused a major outbreak for 7 years of malaria.
Holy crap, that's terrible.
Yes.
That's not just...
Go free, little mosquitoes.
Wow, that is legitimately terrible.
And I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing.
What worries me is it looks like you're storing ideas. Well, actually, sidebar, we talked about something very similar. So up in the north end of the state, and I don't know what the range of these things is, but they seem to like cold and damp. So I'm guessing you don't have them down south much. But they're called earwigs. And so
we'll try and insert a picture here.
Yes. And basically for our audio-only audience, they are about 3/4 of an inch long.
Yeah, roughly.
And they're kind of flat and they're brown and nondescript, but except for they had these big pinchers on the back that look really menacing.
Devil bugs.
They can actually pinch you. I mean, the best I've gotten is one to kind of hold on to my finger, but they're not sharp and they don't have a lot of power there. They're really, they're for show. They scare off other bugs by showing them the pincher and then... But they like to live under logs and in, decaying bark and that kind of stuff. Well, they don't have them down here in southern Indiana. I don't know why.
Yeah,
we're in the
don't
same
have them
state.
here.
So we had talked about gathering a bunch of them up and then like reintroducing them down here just to watch people freak out at these devil bugs with pinchers.
Yeah, because people that see them for the first time, they're like, what in the world is that thing? It's probably going to kill me in my sleep. They really don't do anything.
Have we just admitted we're as bad as the Nazis?
It's not malaria.
It's not, okay. They don't carry disease, so at least we're not doing that. And really, they don't do anything. They're not destructive. They just kind of startle you when you kick over a log and there's
50 of them.
Pincher bugs coming for you.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next question. Question number 4. The Golden Gate Bridge has been known that it's one of the top places people end up committing suicide there. Just
how picturesque.
Yeah, it's very nice of that. How many people have committed suicide on the Golden Gate Bridge? Roughly. This is not an exact
Since it was opened?
Since it was opened.
283.
1,500. Just over 1,500.
You'd think they'd police that a little better.
So they have a sign.
Please don't commit suicide.
No, it's like, you have a lot to live for signs at each end of the bridge. They have call boxes along the way that instantly ring to suicide prevention lines and everything else.
Well, at least they've done something.
I mean, they are legitimately trying to help.
I think if you've gotten to the point where you're actively driving to the bridge to do it, but I mean, at least they're doing something. But I think once you've gotten to that point mentally, you're probably just going to do it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I guess if you're going to go, that's still horrible. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. Let's get onward. Question number 5. How many ingredients are in the Fritos corn chips?
It's going to be low. I'll go 5.
3.
Corn, chips, and salt. No. It's corn and salt and probably some sort of oil.
You are correct. Corn oil, corn, and salt.
That's it?
So technically there's only 2 things. I mean, if you take the base of corn being for corn and corn oil.
That's lower than I thought.
Yeah.
I figured there'd be some other, weird chemical.
Partially hydrogenated.
Or some chemical thing that's like 40 characters long that you can't pronounce to preserve them. But they're so salty, they probably don't need a preservative.
Nope. They've been there since the pharaohs.
I love me some Fritos, though.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I misspelled that, but good thing I made this up. I said Ringles, but it's actually Pringles.
Ringles.
There's a joke there. I'm not going there.
Please don't.
Okay. Pringles once faced a lawsuit claiming that they weren't really potato chips. Why?
Because they're not fried?
No. Because they're actually only 42% potato flour.
What's the rest?
Other stuff. They have more than 3 ingredients.
Those are the 40-character long, unpronounceable.
But Pringles won, and they have legally been stamped potato chips.
Because the largest portion of the ingredient
is potato flour.
That's true, because it's not like a normal chip where they're, like your Lay's chips.
Sliced potatoes.
Yeah, they're just sliced and then they fry them. They're actually making this mash and then like stamping it out.
Stamping potato-esque things out.
Yes. Sidebar, if you've never had the Lay's stacks, they're what Pringles wish they were. They're better. They're thicker. They have more, crisp to them.
Huh.
Yeah, they're what Pringles wish they were. Like, imagine taking 2 Pringles stacked on top of each other. They're good.
I'll have to try them.
I have a weakness.
Okay. What color were carrots originally?
Purple.
I will accept that as purple or yellow. Yes.
Okay, those are 2 totally different colors. I know you're colorblind.
Yes.
But purple and yellow are 2 different colors.
They were 2 different strains or variants of a carrot.
Ah, okay.
So some were purple, some were yellow.
So did we genetically engineer them to be orange?
We kind of genetically nudged them in the way we wanted them to be.
Be orange. Be orange. Be orange.
Go. Do it. So, yes, that's what happened with
Like
the
the
carrots.
people who grew beets were getting upset with them or something?
I don't know why we've
Weird.
done it, but we've done it.
Most of our foods are some sort of genetic hybrid.
Yeah.
Like bananas, as we know them, that's not a natural thing.
Actually, I read a thing while I was doing this trivia that pretty much all the bananas that we ever eat are clones of the original banana because they were genetically modified and then
It sterilized them.
grown from that banana.
Yeah, they're sterile. You can't, bananas do have seeds in them.
Yeah.
They won't do anything if you plant them.
No. They are clone bananas.
Yes.
Never mind. Never mind. Okay, question number 8.
Food for thought.
Cephalophobia is the fear of what? You want me to spell it for you?
Octopuses and squids.
No. It's a fear of flashes of light.
I was thinking cephalopods.
Oh, yeah, no. I thought that's where you're probably going.
That's hilarious to think that I could run around with a camera flash terrorizing people.
On another completely not related note, I don't remember the name of the disease, but there is this brain-eating disease that...
Do you have it?
No.
Okay. That would explain so much.
Yeah. No, I don't. That what happens is you realize, someone tells you that this person is your mother, and they are legitimately your mother. You understand that. You can reason that and rationalize that, but you don't believe that that person is your mother. You basically think that they are an alien or some kind of person impersonating your mother, but this goes for every person, not just a mother.
That's awesome.
So your whole life is spent thinking that everyone around you is like an alien impersonating the rest of the world, and you're trapped in this reality. That would be terrible.
That's not actually what's happening?
No.
I need to see a therapist then.
I'm really me.
I was that you're saying it's terrible. I was kind of hoping that was the case because, again, it would explain so much.
Nope, not true. Question number 9. What Disney character was originally named Mortimer?
Mickey.
Yes, Mickey Mouse.
They decided Mortimer was too serious.
Yes.
He was supposed to be lighthearted.
Mortimer.
I think it was Walt Disney's girlfriend she was going to be eventually his future wife was the one that suggested Mickey.
Not Mortimer.
She thought Mortimer was too serious sounding for somebody who was so, just la la la.
Lighthearted.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Actually, is it today? Today is his 90th birthday.
Is it?
Steamboat Willie was released today, November 18th, 1928.
There you go.
That was some very timely trivia on your part.
That all on accident.
Okay, but
Better to be
I
lucky
knew
than
that off
good.
the top of my head, but not all this other junk.
Okay, question number 10. Last one. Tribology is the study of what? And I'll spell it. It's not very hard. Tribolgy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it exactly right. Tribology, whatever. But you're getting what I'm going for.
Okay, the study of humans and social groups.
Nope. It is a study of friction, lubrication, and wear.
Why don't these ever sound like what they should be?
I don't know.
Like the flashes of light one, that's cephalophobia. It sounds like cephalopods, which is...
Octopi.
They just like messing with people.
Yes, they do. You didn't do so hot.
No.
You got Mickey Mouse. I think that was the only one
I think I think I got 2.
Oh,
I got
yeah, you got
carrots.
the carrots. Yeah, you got carrots.
Batting 20%. Batting 200.
That's still failing by modern public school.
Let's give it a few years. They'll lower it to that.
Keep lowering those standards until we can get all those kids making A's.
I told you at the beginning, up front, I am ready to fail this.
Yeah. You were. So
I'm curious how the play-at-home crew did. If anybody got a really good score, like you got 7 of 10, let us know. I'm just super curious.
I talked to a few people, and everybody's like, I know a lot of that trivia. And I'm not doubting them, but did they know a lot of them across all of the shows?
Everybody's going to have a show where they do well. Heck, I have shows where I do well. It just doesn't, cross your particular cross-section of knowledge.
True. So
See, my problem is I get interested in a subject and I'll learn a ton about that one thing. So I don't have like a huge, broad, like Jeopardy style. I know a little bit about everything. I know a lot of specific things about a narrow range of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm one of these rabbit hole people that, new subject and like just bury it in it.
4 hours are gone learning about that.
Yeah, at least.
Well,
I mean, I totally do my job like I'm supposed to.
I am helping educate you.
You are. You're broadening my horizons. And I like trivia.
There you go. See,
So.
helping.
Do you have something stupid that we can do for stupid stuff with Chad? We're going to give it a break.
Let's give it a break. I probably have stuff. I don't have anything written down.
Speaking of breaks, we are going to roll through right up until Christmas, and then we're actually going to take a holiday break.
Yes, we are.
Because I'm going to be up north with family for an extended amount of time, and it's the bottom of the curve in terms of the off season. Like everything from then on up starts kind of ramping up to the next one, but there's not going to be a ton to talk about anyways. And our Christmas gift to you is you won't have to hear us.
We'll probably do something in there. We'll do some little bits. I'm going to go riding with some people. I won't reveal that until it's all the way out.
We won't totally drop off the map, but we're not going to release a formal, this is your weekly web show.
Yeah. And I might do a short one with some of the guys I'm riding with. We'll see.
Oh, sure.
We'll just see how all that plays out. But we wanted to let you know not to expect one in that interim space there, Christmas, New Year's.
Unless somebody wants to write us a very large check to do one, in which case I could probably be talked into it.
Even a reasonably large check or a moderately sized check. A small check.
I just keep thinking of Scott from TGM Off-Road. $20 is $20. Okay, that picture is going in here just so I don't look like a total lunatic.
Yep. All right, let's wrap this mess up.
All right. Well, we do want to say thank you to our sponsors. Of course, Watch Communications for hosting the website and the podcast. The offer is still valid. We've actually had one person use the promo code. It's magic. It works.
Da-da-da.
So if you are interested in web hosting, the code Waste of Time, all lowercase with no spaces, will get you a free month of hosting with Watch Communications. You can find their info on our webpage, or you can head on over to watchcom.net. Also want to say thank you to TGM Off-Road, UTV Engineering, UTV-Doors, Harrison Power Sports up there in Harrison, Michigan, CW Motorsports, and Spangs Fab.
Yep. And if you guys are interested in coming on as sponsors we're going to start next season's, season 2 of the podcast, the web show here.
We haven't hit a formalized date, but the seasons are over, and
we kind of said Thanksgiving.
We did say Thanksgiving, so maybe season 2, the official start, we're going to call it the weekend, December 2nd.
Yeah, when we actually start in the new studio.
December 2nd is the second season.
There we go.
There you go. But we are looking at sponsors for this year. If you have any interest in becoming a sponsor of the show, a few of our sponsors we have now are probably going to be dropping off, so we don't want you to feel like you're just ninth in line or something along those lines. We're considering all of our options, and we're looking at who wants to partner with us to move the show forward. And if that's you, or if you know somebody who would be interested, send them our way, and let's get talking. Yeah,
I wanted to kind of add to that point, and Doug went there too, but if you have, let's say, a local dealership who you think may be interested or who would benefit from being talked about and us visiting them possibly and stuff like that, or company that makes parts that you talk to a lot and you deal with them, pass us along to them. I mean, show them the show, have us get in contact with them, or them get in contact with us. Either way, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, I mean,
that's fine too.
Not going to be any hard feelings on our end. I'm sure not on their end about it. It just sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
I was just thinking about sponsors, and Steve Mueller keeps saying, I'm trying to work something out, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, and it's too early to say, but he said Polaris is aware of you guys. You are on their radar, and all I could think of is, like, I'm aware that my neighbor's dog is taking a dump in my front lawn. Like, that's awareness. It doesn't mean it's a good thing.
That doesn't mean I approve or I like them or anything. Yeah.
Well, you can find us on the web at our website, eminentperformance.com. You can find the audio version of this show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. You can find the video version on YouTube. Just search for Eminent Performance or Eminent Waste of Time. Either one will probably get you there. And you can find us on Facebook /Eminent Racing and on Instagram @Eminent Racing.
Yep, that'll do it. We try and keep a pretty good presence on Instagram and Facebook throughout the week and, keep you guys up to date with some stuff that we got going on. So tune in, follow us, leave a like, leave a comment. Let us know what you're up to.
We've definitely had some more action on that front, and we really, really do appreciate the comments and the interactions and the likes, because it's showing an effect and we are growing. So please keep that up.
Yep. Appreciate it much, guys.
All right. So one more time from here and then from our new home.
Yep. Once more into the breach.
All right. Well, no matter whose home studio you're leaving behind, thanks for riding along with us.
Thanks, guys.
Tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.